Good morning, folks. We have a special, shorter than usual video today, not a full practice, but like a tutorial on a specific area. I'm Leo Bray coming to you from Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center in Palm Springs. Visit us online at urbanyoga.org via browser or Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center on Facebook. Check out our class schedule. We have classes every day of the week, and visit the tip jar where you can make contributions to support the classes we offer on Zoom and share later on YouTube. So what I'm going to do today is a tutorial on headstands, a type of inversion that we don't often teach in Zoom classes. Headstands are best taught with in-person assistance, someone who can spot you and physically assist you. And so I, for one, have been reluctant to teach them via video. But in this tutorial, I'll show you some things that you could try on your own with a greater margin of safety than if you were not guided. Of course, no video is substitute for having another person around. If you do have another person that you can practice with, that's also a good idea. Someone who can catch you when you're going to fall, or someone who can help lift you up into the actual headstand. So I just thought I would share some tips and tricks that I learned when I was first practicing these, and things I learned later along the way as well. So there are two basic kinds of headstands that we use in a lot of yoga classes. There's lots of different inversions. An inversion is any posture where you're getting your feet and your legs higher than your heart. So you think of like happy baby pose as a nice, gentle, accessible one that we include in a lot of classes because almost anyone can do that one. Headstands are a little trickier. They have other benefits to them besides just getting the legs and feet higher than your heart. You're inverting everything. So you're getting the fluid in your spinal column, the cerebrospinal fluid redistributed, getting more of it up here. And what can happen when you do that is that your skull will actually expand a bit. Your skull is comprised of 22 different bones. We think of it as one solid thing, but it's not at all. And when you get more fluid up in there by turning yourself upside down, all those bones move apart a little bit. So lots of great benefits to inversions, aside from them just plain being fun. So two kinds of headstands. The first one that most people find easier is called a basket headstand. It's not the one I find easier, but more people do. So I'll start with that one. And what do we mean by a basket headstand? The basket is this. You make a basket with your hands, and you're going to cradle your head in this basket. But while I'm showing you this, first thing to note about the basket is this pinky, the way I have my hands interlaced now, can get hurt. If I put my hands on the floor like that, and I start to put pressure, I'm putting a lot of pressure on that pinky. So the first thing I want to show is to, instead of having one pinky under the other, fold the pinky inside so that pinkies will rest both level on the ground and one's not taking more weight than the other one. The other thing we're going to use in both these headstands I'll show you today is the wall. The wall is a great assist. So with your hands like this, you're going to plant your hands on the floor like that. So the hands are the basket. And you bring the crown of your head to the floor. And have your head resting against your hands. Now I'm going to go over by the wall so that my back can come up onto the wall and the wall can help me out. But I wanted you to get a good look at the hands first. So hands clasped, crown of the head on the floor. Then I'm going to curl my toes under, and this is going to look a bit like a weird downward facing dog. I press into my feet and lift my knees, press into my arms and lift my tail. So I'm resting on the balls of my feet, my forearms, my hands, and the crown of my head. Then you're going to walk your feet in closer until you feel your shoulder blades press to the wall. And then just play around by lifting one leg, see how that feels, and lift the other leg, see how that feels. And then we pick a leg to spring off of and bounce up onto the wall. Big push in the foot. And we land with our back on the wall. So my heels, my calves, my butt are all on the wall. Now my shoulder blades aren't on the wall. And I could stay on the wall and take it easy, or I can engage the core. I can zip my legs together, engage through the core, reach up through the toes. Now my legs are off the wall. Now my butt's off the wall. And this is more work, it's more active version. And then anytime you can come back to the wall. And you can play with different shapes with your legs once you're up here, if you like. Play around. And maybe the toughest thing, I found the toughest thing was developing control when coming out, learning how to come slowly. You can jam your toe if you come out too quick. So try to come out slowly, bending your legs, keep the core engaged, and tone down as slowly as you can. Slowly is a relative term. And usually after you come out, it's nice to take a counter stretch. Just see what your body feels like doing. Maybe child's pose. Maybe just catch your breath. Need to do that more when you're talking. Maybe grab a drink. Now the other type of headstand I'll show we call a tripod. The 3 points of the tripod are your hands and your head. So a tripod headstand, instead of holding your head in your hands, you have your head between your hands, and you end up with that tripod base standing up. Now, the best way I know to do this, to start out, safest and most supported way, we call the headless headstand, and it involves 6 yoga blocks. 2 stacks of 3, 1 stack for each shoulder. So I'm going to end up with my hands in front of the stack of blocks, the shoulders on here, so like the end of the collarbone in the middle of the block. My head will hang down here. We call it the headless headstand because you don't actually put pressure on your head. So first we check the spacing of the blocks. It's important that the stacks are the same height, but it's also important that you get to the center of the block. So the ends of my collarbone are right about in the middle of the blocks. Sometimes you have to come out and move the blocks a bit. You want the blocks right against the wall. So I've come from this, down on my hands and knees, into, yet again, a funny down dog sort of thing. Walk the feet in, press the shoulder blades to the wall. And again, you can lift one leg, see what that feels like. Lift the other, see what that feels like. And remember, headless headstand, see, I'm shaking my head. Maybe it looks like, maybe my hair's touching the rug, but there's no weight on my neck. So again, we lift one leg, we bend into the other one and push off, and we spring up, and we're on the wall. So with this one, unlike the basket stand, my shoulder blades are still on the wall, as well as middle of the back and the butt, the legs, the heels. And again, I could just rest on the wall and chill out, or I can engage. Zip the feet and legs together, point the toes, legs come off the wall, press into the hands, tip away from the wall, butt comes off the wall, shoulder blades come off the wall. Now my arms are doing some work. My core is definitely doing some work. This makes it difficult to talk. Still don't have any weight on my head. Blocks are doing the work. And here too, can play with different shapes in the legs, on the wall or off. And play with developing the control to come out slowly. Find the strength in the slowness. Bending the legs, keeping the core engaged, really slowly coming down. Take any counter pose or counter movement that you want. See what your body feels like doing. Grab another drink, catch my breath. So you don't have to have 6 blocks that are the same, but they should be, the stacks should be the same height. So here we have these 2 are the same, and then these 2 are the same, and then these 2 are the same. So depending on what kind of blocks you've got. You just want to make sure that the stacks are the same height. And also, too, there can be a lot of variation in the density of the blocks and how much they yield when you put weight on them. So make sure the ones at the top of the stack are the same density. You don't want to sink more into your right shoulder block than into the left shoulder block and end up crooked. Can make you more likely to tip over. Now, after practicing with the wall for a while, practicing with the blocks for a while, you get to the point where you can do these without that support. Now, I like for the tripod to come into this shape here, and then extend the legs up. And from here, you could play with different shapes in the legs, explore movement as you hang out. Now, some folks like to come into that stance from a wide-legged forward fold, what we might call a straddle fold sometimes. Then you can come from a straddle fold to planting your head, scooting your feet in, bring the knees to the elbows, lift the feet up. It's sort of like a frog. When I was a kid and taking gymnastics in phys ed class, they called this the froggy headstand. And I think that's why I remain partial to the tripod. And I almost fell, and hey, it wouldn't be a complete tutorial without showing you that that can happen. That was not planned, and I'm not going to edit it out. I'm not going to start over. Sometimes we fall, so don't come off the wall before you're ready. And you are going to fall. That's part of the practice. So it's handy to have someone to help. So when you get into that down dog shape with the shoulder blades on the wall, you can have a buddy to come in and put their forearm in front of your shins and help you swing your legs up onto the wall. And when you come down too, they can put their forearm in front of your shins and help you come down gently with some more control. Another posture you might come into it from is Malasana, a squat. So from a squat like this, sometimes we use this to set up for crow pose too. You can come from Malasana to plant your hands, come up on the balls of your feet, let the crown of the head find its way to the floor. Walk the feet in closer. Get the knees onto the elbows. And when you're ready, extend up. Pointing the toes helps, keeping the feet and legs zipped together. Think of a zipper. This helps keep the core engaged. And you don't have to play with different leg positions. Maybe you just zip up. Or maybe it feels better to you to let your legs be loose. Over time, you'll find what feels good to you and your body, what's easier, what's more challenging. And there's some headstands to play with. I look forward to resuming in-person classes where we play with these things together, and I can help you up onto the wall, help you down off the wall. In the meantime, grab a buddy, grab a roommate, partner, whoever you're living with, whoever you're sharing physical space with, and you can help each other come up onto the wall, come down off the wall. And as you develop the core strength, when you're ready, there's no rush, you can come off the wall and play around. Again, I'm Leo Bray coming to you from Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center in Palm Springs. Please visit us online at urbanyoga.org and at Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center on Facebook. You can visit the tip jar, make contributions to our Zoom and YouTube offerings via Zelle or Venmo or PayPal. And check out our class schedule. We have Zoom classes every day of the week. And Thursday through Sunday mornings, we're live in Ruth Hardy Park here in Palm Springs, where you can practice with us in person, at a distance, bring a mask, bring some water. No, I don't think they're going to do any headstands in the park. There are no walls. There are some trees, but I wouldn't use a tree for a headstand. Have a wonderful day. Questions and feedback, are always welcome. Feel free to use that comments option on your YouTube. And subscribe, follow us. Take care.